Good evening and welcome to another social of Nightfall in Amsterdam. It is October the 25th, 2019. It's a social between Veronica and Alvaro. Our scene begins in the kinfolk camp. Okay. Alvaro will be sitting, well, probably, moving and helping the kinfolk about, trying to build stuff.
Mostly, if anything, if with Veronica, she'd be either doing patrols or talking to certain kinfolk.
All right. He'll take note and saunter on over to her.
All right. Out of game, she does have the physically impressive feat, so and merit. So she does have an intimidating appearance.
She's a handsome woman.
Right.
Um, does she look pregnant or is that
She does.
okay? All right, just wanted to check. I didn't know how far along things were.
I think she's like at 6 months.
Whew. Okay. Hello there.
She looks over with a serious look, though not showing hostility. She has an unblinking stare. I'm trying to get a better one. She looks at you, not quite in a side glare, but unblinking, stoic, and expressionless face. Hello there.
I am Alvaro. Smother Shadows. I don't believe we met.
We have not. I am Veronica Strikes with Lightning.
Supposed to meet you. May I ask what tribe I was in?
Shadow Lord.
Ah, Silence tribe. Sounds what tribe
Fos-
I'm a little about.
Galliard Fostered.
No moon for me. And client. I don't know how to say it out of character. But rank one.
Oh, Clive.
Client. Yeah. Yeah. I mumble so it doesn't roll off the tongue.
It's okay.
Anyway, is there anything I can help you with?
Mostly right now it's just keeping tabs on the campgrounds. But since you are here and I haven't met all of you, how many newcomers came here?
Let's see. Um, there was myself, uh, a wonderful Uktana, and a another man whose name and everything else I did not get.
You see, like, her eyebrows go up and she has a smirk, like the one like someone makes when they are busted getting in trouble. Your character kind of gets the impression that like you told her something that has an interest to her. It's like, oh, someone didn't introduce themselves.
Ah, um, yes, there was a particular gentleman. I don't really even remember who he interacted with. He was quiet up until he was talking to one of the others. Forgive me, I have names, faces, simony today. But don't remember if it was it was certainly the one of higher station than myself. But are you looking for information on this man?
I heard about this through a friend of mine. I'm not amused by this, considering that we just dealt with a war, and there were some before that have shown they're not trustworthy. So when someone doesn't introduce themselves, it brings a lot of questions.
That's fair, especially considering the situation. Um, well, I don't know his current whereabouts, but I could certainly point him in your direction if you wish to speak with him if I see him.
thank you. And she smiles. Very satisfied. She has a very satisfied look.
Um, were you involved in the fighting that happened here? I assume.
I was a part of some of that, yes.
It,
There,
sorry. What were we going to say?
it was a war started from the Sept of the Frozen Forest.
I do not think I'm familiar with that set.
They are not around, but that is a lot of details to go over. But the war got instigated even further by someone named Vidar.
Get a Fenris, I assume.
Yes.
Did you by chance happen to catch the last gathering here? They were discussing strategies and moving forward from here on in.
I spoke to Air,
She was here for that.
and she mentioned about either, like, the biggest one is looking into places
Yes.
for that could be made into a new Karen. I don't know if she mentioned places to you.
We all had a big discussion in regards to ideas for that. She and I think, had the like mind of finding a place first, getting it settled, and then attempting to recapture what was lost. There's a gentleman that just came in specifically for this. He wishes to take the fight to them. He agrees in settling, and then, but he mentioned possibly taking places of use from the mages if they're not willing to run over.
Mages I don't know too much about, but it sounds like they're also in the cities. That's the
Yes,
only concern I have with that.
I was of the mind it would open up another enemy on a different front we don't really need right now. But I think they're working on seeing if the mages will cede anything to them out of goodwill.
You could tell with Veronica, her expressions is sort of like, while remaining stoic, a little more calmer, not really attempting to startle or intimidate you.
Okay. He apparently he's very mellow. He's expressive, but not like, he doesn't seem worried by this. He seems like he's just kind of going over it. You know, he doesn't seem to have an opinion on it one way or the other as far as expression and body language.
Out of game, probably because he's a new moon.
Yep. Yep. Um, but what are your thoughts? I'm curious on
I'm not a Theurge, but I do not. I would prefer if we did not have it in the city, because that will draw attention from humans, and that could be a veil breach if one's not cautious.
you having conflict with the Magi.
The mages, I don't know too much about. There could be conflict with them if we're in the cities. Could be conflict with vampires.
That I'm more okay with, but first, at least I will be looking into some things in regards to that. But first things first.
If you want to look into that, there is a theater in a ship. All different supernaturals are there. You might be able to see some big faces. However, it's a neutral ground, so no one can fight each other.
That's fine. Is there a um, limitation on outside?
There's certain areas where it'll just be supernatural only. There's only certain areas you can sidestep.
Okay,
It's like keep your powers, keep our abilities at a minimum.
that's fine. I have bigger fish to help fry with this first before I go into that arena. Um, let's see. I believe they said the Sungeta kinfolk were magi and they were assisting with the refugee camp.
I'd believe it.
And I think they just delivered some supplies last time we were here. Again, my memory is not the best. So many people, faces. Um, but yeah, trying to think. Is there anything else?
Did they by any chance mention shelter for kinfolk?
They're looking into it. Um, they're they're living in abandoned. Some of them are living in abandoned buildings, I believe, from what they were saying, and so on. But it's so many. It's hard to house all of them. Um,
Yeah.
I I can look into that while I'm in the city. I wasn't able to find any places of power within the city when I was there looking, but I'm not at the urges either. So. But do you have any ideas for housing for the kinfolk?
Well, as I said, I do believe with our Karen, it should be somewhere in the wilderness to avoid human sights. If there are housings, it should be. Hopefully, there is a settlement nearby, because then it would mean we'd have to build one.
Mhm.
So something
Well,
not too conspicuous.
um, our
If it
mutual,
happens,
she mentioned the beach.
I did hear about the beach, and if there's places nearby, it means that there's possibly ways for kinfolk to keep tabs or get a job or whatever.
Trying to think if there is anywhere within the city that could stay temporarily until the thing is the matter's resolved.
Well, the main thing is depending where they are in the city, that means that would be two different areas to protect.
That's true.
So you don't want to stretch out too. My concern, if we stretch out too thin, it makes too many vulnerabilities.
That's true.
Unless you want to send the one with that did introduce a name and be to go do that and be like, well, want to earn a name for yourself?
Are you planning to make that a formal complaint or just speak with him yourself?
At this point, I think somebody will make a complaint about this. It doesn't seem like too many are happy about this.
Has expressed disapproval.
I appreciate at least the information you're giving me.
Ah, yeah. Well, let's see. So, are you from Amsterdam?
I'm from America.
Oh, what brought you out here?
It was recommended, well, I was at a different SEP that had some extremists. It was brought to my that wasn't really going to go anywhere. they wanted to change the litany, so it's brought to my attention that I would probably be able to do something more productive over here while you're having two of our allies fighting each other.
What part of the America?
So I'm from the New England area, from Massachusetts, but I was at one point in a sept in San Diego called Halloween Winds.
I've always wanted to visit, but never made my way over there.
America's very nice, very diverse. The West Coast is very different than the East Coast in terms of temperature and certain foods.
I've heard stories about LA and how big the city is on the West Coast.
It is very big.
And, well, many of the stories, as you can imagine. I myself am from Tatua in Africa, part of Spain.
Oh,
Traveling about for a couple of years now, Europe and back.
so you're from Spain.
Yeah.
How's it over there?
Well, I'm from the North African part of it, but city's beautiful. Um, the landscape's breathtaking at night, day. Um, I had vampire issues when I was there. Um, Refugee issues with the ongoing political situation, the mortals and whatnot. It's getting a little worse as it goes.
That is unfortunate.
As far as the worst situation, it is as it always is, and didn't seem to be getting better when I was last there. Do you by chance like music?
I do.
Well, if you're ever interested in jazz at the local clubs in the city,
Oh,
he pulls up a saxophone or a case of some sort.
she gives you a genuine smile while remaining smug.
That's a beautiful skill.
Not many have that skill, including among galliards.
Well, I can play for you sometime. When are you due?
Okay, out of game, John did not tell me. So she looks just like some of that. I still gotta go over that. Right now, it's just around 6 months.
Oh, okay.
So some point, probably winter.
Um, the I don't always sound this up. The other person involved with that, I assume they survived the
They did.
good.
I was very happy about that too.
It's wonderful to hear. What do you plan to do once you have your child?
Probably after making sure there's a secure area for kinfolk and making sure I don't have to concern myself too much, it'll be keeping tabs on kinfolk while performing duties around here and making sure something like this doesn't happen anytime soon.
Okay, so you're going to stay around.
Probably for a bit. Just this has gotten too serious where you can't have kinfolk out in the open.
Yeah, I agree. Midwifing, I've heard, is a thing. Or is that? I'm not sure. I'm not sure on such matters, but congratulations all the same.
Thank you.
Are you married?
He is my mate. Though it's
Well,
not
if you'd
like
like,
out of
you'd
game. I
like to
don't
invite
believe
him.
it's documented.
Gotcha. Oh, if you'd like to
It
invite
is.
him to see me perform one night, I'd be more than happy to play.
All right. I will keep that in mind. I'm sure he wouldn't mind a break.
And you
Thank you.
said there's a ship theater.
There is
Okay. Perhaps
the
I can
rule.
play there one night.
You can. As I said, the rule there, it's a neutral ground, but and I believe the person who runs it is a vampire. However, you could get some details if you're looking specifically for those that do you harm or are threatening your country or
How is the situation with the leeches here?
I haven't had too many conflicts with them, but they're around.
That's that's what I
Most
was
of
told.
the supernatural here are a bit different, where some are willing to work with us, having their own problems to deal with. Keyword, some of them.
I'm
So,
looking for a certain sect of them that, again, that can wait till things quiet down. But I don't think that here, but I don't think it's going to be anytime soon, considering
do they involve snakes?
they do.
Someone did have a run-in with them in the sewers, with actual snakes that were some kind of vampire.
Thank you. Uh, I'll look into that.
Out of game, I don't remember the full details on that because that was with Anthony's character.
Yeah, I think it resolved, but I'm not sure. But he'll still look into it because.
Yeah.
Um, but hmm. um, so do you have a pack?
I do.
Yes.
Talons of Judgment. We follow Eagle.
I like the name.
Thank you.
It's fitting for your demeanor.
She smiles.
Is it still smug?
The smile is still smug.
Nice.
She is always going to be smug.
That's amazing. Um, have you met Little Fang yet?
I have not met Little Fang.
She is wonderful. Um, she's a very small lupus of Uktena.
Okay.
She came here to avenge her father.
We don't encounter too many Native American tribes here.
That's what everyone at the gathering said too. I think it was a Wendigo elder was speaking to her and didn't understand why she came all the way out here.
Personally, I could say the same about the Wendigo.
Well, I wasn't going to bring it up, but yes. I think I'll look into that for her. She doesn't seem like she'll have the best what's the phrase? Well, I guess personable skills as far as information.
Her being a lupus might be a little more challenging too.
Mm. I'll have to speak with her. Have I met any of your packmates?
It would be Lucas, three chords.
Think
Though
he was here for that gathering.
he has a new deed name now, which his new deed name is Breaker of the Heartstone. Otherwise, you may have also met Willow.
I don't think I met him.
And then there's Natalie defies authority, but she is a dead mother.
Ah,
So you may not see her too much.
yes. I think I met Lucas. I think he was here for the gathering. Then he went on the troll.
Well, a lot happened, so I could see him doing that.
What was the I didn't get a lot of details about the fighting. What exactly happened?
It was like a civil war, but there was also kinfolk being smuggled.
He sighs.
There was certain Vidar was pulling strings. Was the other one? And then Scepter riddling waters. Then there was worm taint with that.
Oh, that's
After
fantastic.
it was not pleasant. So we're now in a scenario where there is no Karen, and we gotta go look for one.
Do you know how many were lost?
The majority of the last Karen was lost. Way too many kinfolk were lost. Where I believe now it's only 30 something from Scepter riddling water. The other sept, I think only one was allowed to live, and that was because he did not agree with Sept of the Frozen Forest. Any that was not slain by Air or Lucas, I would find a Diumbra and deal with them. They got the punishment of the Blood Eagle.
I've heard of it. What exactly did they do?
Some of the things that they would end up doing, aside from the war, with some of the kinfolk, how they smuggled them. They were going to make them serve even if they didn't want to. So a lot have had trauma with that. Different members of the Sept did get killed. They were also manipulating and not telling the full truth of what's going on.
He just shakes his head.
And some of the members there, it was about more of personal ambition rather than fighting for Gaia.
I feel like she has enough heroes and needs more results.
And she doesn't need and what made this worse is it was a family feud going back several generations.
Between which,
Two different Geta Fenris families. This one, out of respect, I would mention that I would like to point out that I feel you would best ask Air more of what happened, because this affected her the most. And there are certain things that I would like to be respectful on her part.
no problem. I will speak with her. All right. Is there anything else that I could possibly inform you on that you might be curious about?
No, I should be good.
All right.
Thank you, Smothers Shadow.
Thank you. I'll do a little bow and then saunter off.
Okay. You want to end scene there?
Yeah, I'm gonna go
Alright.
hit the hay soon.
Alright.
All right. Alrighty. That was fun.